gonna wreck it! Nowhere to hide!
You ready for some serious playtime? Whoa! Okay, I'm ready. Gotcha!
I could use a little fun.
Whoa! This is incredible!
Greetings, my friend.
Welcome to the first ever edition of the Infinity and Beyond podcast, your podcast dedicated to the Disney Infinity video game. I am one of your hosts, Nick. I am joined by Matt, and we will be joining you guys each and every week with this new weekly podcast, and we're very excited to get this one off the ground. And you guys may be sitting out there wondering, aren't you guys a little late to the game? This video game has been around for about a year, but you know what? There's still a lot of excitement surrounding Disney Infinity. Both me and Matt have had a year now hands-on with the game and playing it, and still enjoy it today. And we have Disney Infinity 2.0 right around the corner, and what better time, actually, to launch this podcast than just after the big E3 video game conference that was just about a week ago, and we got all kinds of news from it. So we got plenty to talk about Disney 2.0 going forward, and we still have a lot going on with the first edition of Disney Infinity, including weekly toy boxes and challenges, and mine and Matt's thoughts on it and how Disney 2.0 is going to change the game a little bit. So, you know, first of all, I'm pretty excited to get going here because it's been a year now, I guess, or I don't know, maybe 8 months. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember the exact release date of Disney Infinity, but I'm still playing it on a weekly basis.
It's, yeah, I think it's been about, let me jump back for a second, let people know. It's been a year, but you and I both have experience doing other podcasts, and I should call you the Podfather. You're very good at all what you do. But we've listened to other places and we've followed the news, and we just felt like there was a market for it, especially for our background with Disney fans. But like you said, I haven't played a game. I'm 40. I've never played Skylanders. I know it's been around, but I hadn't played a game like this yet. And you know, it was kind of cool to play a new type of game with characters that you relate to, and my kids enjoyed it, and we could all play it. We could all get together. So it was a nice change for me. I've been more of a sports oriented gamer for years. So to me, after I think it was released last September, October.
I think so.
I would say if you looked at my history, I have a Wii U. And that's what I had in first Infinity. I just bought a PlayStation 4, so I'm excited about that. I bet 90% of my game playing time was playing Disney Infinity.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I wasn't a Skylanders person either. And I actually was very skeptical about Disney Infinity when I first heard about it. Then I got a hands-on experience at the D23 Expo out in Anaheim last year. And when I saw more of the gameplay, I saw more of the excitement around it. I saw the figures up close and personal. I got one of those Sorcerer Mickey figures as a giveaway at the expo. I was sold there. Once I got the hands-on, especially, and was able to play the game and really get a feel for what it's like. I thought, okay, well, I'll just collect one or two of these little statue figures. But I ended up having every single one of them from the first series.
And let me guess. You've got a gaming background, so do I. Disney has had a terrible track record of just milking games out that tie into a movie that aren't fun to play. So I looked at this new system, this new game coming out with a little bit of cynical eyes going, oh yeah, Disney hasn't made a great game in ages. I don't believe this is going to be good. But the more information that was brought to my attention, I started building up excitement. But like you said, it wasn't like starting seeing some demos. I think one of my writers Travis Denman went to was in Chicago, and they were doing this cool thing where they were taking Infinity around the country, letting people play it. And I was seeing, and he was excited, and I was seeing it, and I'm like, well, dang, Disney might actually. And then once you realize that the people running Infinity really put some effort, it wasn't just to tie into a movie to make a quick buck. They saw that if they put a lot of effort to this is a major moneymaker. And one episode we can talk about the economics of how much money the Infinity brought to the Disney game division.
Yeah.
That it never had before. Please go ahead.
No, they did. I mean, they did put a lot into this, and you're right. They didn't have the best track record as of late. But what I saw at the expo was that they were bringing in attention to detail that we hadn't seen in a long time. Like, they were caring about these figures. They were making them not only something that you want to buy so you can play the game, something you'd actually want to collect and put on your shelf and display them. Something you'd actually want to own as a collector of Disney stuff. And as a lot of people know, I mean, I'm sure we have a nice mix of gamers and Disney enthusiasts listening to this podcast. Disney enthusiasts know we like to collect stuff. We line up.
We love to let Bob Iger buy new expensive things.
Exactly.
We like to just go ahead and but like you said, little things. But Disney people, if you show me like I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but when they made that toy box, somebody made one that looked like parts of Disney World. You know, you do things like that for me. Like you show me a little love to the parks, that just makes me like a little giddy. Like when they showed a ride vehicle. I believe it was a ride vehicle. Travis or somebody will correct me, from 2.0, and it showed the Main Street Electrical Parade, like one of the floats.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yes, little things like that. You slap Figment flying around there somewhere, I might just go ahead and give Bob Iger my direct deposit account, because little things like that. It means that the people who are running Infinity aren't just game people, but they're also Disney people. There's enough people there who know, like, you're not going to randomly throw in a float from that parade unless you get the parks.
Yeah, and I was afraid Disney Infinity was going to be too much for little kids, because that is Disney's market. And the good thing about this game is it really does work for a wide range of ages. I was also very disappointed. I don't know if you remember the game. It came out a couple of years ago called, I believe it was something like Disney Universe. And there's the little characters in costumes, and you play these mini games and stuff. I was so excited for that game, and it so let me down. That totally made me so skeptical for this game, because I thought this was another one of those.
Yeah, I think I had another game for I think it was for the Xbox, because I had a 360, the Kinect. It was Disneyland Adventures.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of cool at first. Hey, look, I'm walking around. I'm seeing like the Mad Hatter thing, and then I'm like, oh, okay, so that's really not fun.
Right. I was so.
But I love
excited.
seeing it. I love seeing the park.
But it had had no longevity, and that's not.
Yes, no longevity, and I probably played it 3 times, and then it's somewhere on my shelf somewhere. Like, I never understood that by the old mentality of the Disney gaming people. If you make something that appeals to the hardcore fan, they will buy it and they will keep buying it. Mm-hmm. I just felt that so many times they were like going in for, let's just see how many people will buy it the first time, no matter how bad it is. But it's nice to see Disney, like, I don't think anybody can question that Disney runs the best theme parks in the world on the way in the themes and everything. It just was always sad to see a division of Disney be one of the bottom rung.
Mm-hmm. Well, Disney took the whole Skylanders thing to another level, because you add in the Disney brand and people want to collect it.
Exactly.
And
like Skylanders. I get the idea that they came up with the concept of the game, but those monsters, there's no connection to me. And if you can tie in like Disney and now Marvel, and we know it's coming, Star Wars at some point down the road, where there's characters that already have an emotional attachment to people and this system, this is a major money thing for Disney if they don't screw it up. And nothing lets me think they're going to screw it up because Disney 1.0 was pretty good. We're going to talk about in the future podcast the good things and the bad things. But I think from what we've seen from the hints at 2.0, they're improving some of the major problems that we saw in 1.0.
Yeah.
And that just gives me, and that's all I want. Don't just hash out a game every year and there's no changes. Listen to the fans, see what works. And so far, I'm very not only pleased with the game, I'm pleased with the management and the leadership and how they're looking at the fans and getting feedback.
And I'm wondering how much, I don't know, I have no idea where in the development stages these things happen, but you know, Disney Infinity, I think, had a great run here since it began, and it was mostly because of that brand. And I think you saw at E3, Nintendo's now releasing their kind of version of these RF characters with the Nintendo brand. And see, I think those are going to sell like hotcakes. I mean, it's just going to.
Yeah. You want to go on a
fire.
tangent? The biggest mistake Nintendo ever made was to not have the Wii U with recognizable games when it came out.
Right.
They should have had Zelda, Mario Kart, and maybe this. But now they're a couple years behind the game. But Nintendo's biggest thing is their brand.
Right. And if you could buy those characters,
like Mario, Zelda, this thing, that's why it's going to be successful. So them not being ready was ridiculous. I promise you, I don't know the numbers, but from what I heard, that the Disney Infinity was one of the top sellers for the Wii U, which just shows you they were people who wanted to buy from Nintendo were craving content that they knew what the hell it was. Yeah. That's just it.
All right. So, you know, like you said, like you hinted at, over the course of the next few podcasts, we'll talk more about, Disney Infinity 1. We will have a weekly segment where we talk about the toy boxes. I know I play them on a weekly basis, so I'll be able to give you guys hands-on with the new toy boxes that have been released in the past week. And we'll tell you the new challenges that are also happening as well that you guys can participate in and build your own toy boxes as well. Hey, real quick, before we get on to any 2.0 stuff, Matt, what was the most creative toy box you've ever built? Do you get into that much?
I do have kids who would take over for me, but let me think back. I made one based a little bit more like on Tron. I mean, I know they had one, but I did some Tron stuff, and that was just, I don't know how well it was playable-wise, but, you know, Tron was just one of those movies, which is another thing is why I love Disney Infinity, is they had little teases of Tron, you know. There was that, but I remember my daughters, just to give like a family one, as soon as Frozen came out, just to show you that movie is just insane merchandise anyway, but how much money they made. But my daughters would sit there and just build. They spent hours just building this. Is the best thing they could that looked like Frozen to them, and we would get in there and play it. So that was kind of a cool thing to me. Like as a family, so as an individual, it was Tron building like a race. I was building like a racer thing. I also did a little bit of Wreck-It Ralph, just because I kind of dug that movie.
Yeah, I did like a cool pirate-themed obstacle course
cool.
once, which was fun to play. It was like a rescue the princess type thing, and you had to get to the end, save a princess, then take her back to the start. And it was kind of fun.
What system were you playing it on again?
I played it on the Wii U.
Okay, same as me. Okay, I was just curious.
I actually purchased the Wii U in order to get Disney Infinity.
My brother-in-law started talking me up about the Wii U. So I went and bought it like the day after it came out.
Wow.
But then didn't have much to play with it for a while. But then in Infinity, I bought it. But like I said, I bought the PlayStation 4. I'm definitely getting the Infinity 2.0 for the PS4.
Okay.
See how it looks.
Well, that's good. Then we'll have a wide range of systems. I mean, I own the PS3 and Xbox. I don't have the new generation consoles yet. But I'm a Nintendo person through and through. I've owned every single Nintendo system throughout its history.
Oh.
So when Infinity came out, I knew I would eventually want the Wii U for other things. Kart 8 that just came out, Zelda, things like that.
Zelda looks good.
So that's why I picked the Wii U to get the Infinity on. So I went that direction. Anyway, all right. So we have we're not going to go into too much detail on 2.0, but we do have a lot of news and notes about it, and we just wanted to kind of touch upon some of the more, the more basics about 2.0. And Matt, you compiled some great notes. I'm assuming some of these came from E3 and other sources.
Oh, first of all, 99% of it, I think I might have put a period or a decimal point somewhere in here, but most of it came from Travis, Abraham, and Roger, who work for my website. So I don't want to take credit for their work, but just to quickly go through some things. First of all, we're looking at a release date of September 23rd of this year. Before people flip out, because I keep seeing this a lot, yes, they're focusing a lot on Marvel right now. Because I hate to say it, but Marvel is selling better than Disney stuff right now.
Yeah, well, my big question was, like, I saw the Marvel stuff, and then all of a sudden I saw Maleficent and Merida, figures, and I got really confused. I thought 2.0 was all about Marvel.
There will be some more Disney. I just think right now they're just getting the attention. Now Marvel, I think, is going to be their primary focus.
Okay.
But there will be some Disney component. How much? I'll probably know better in the next few weeks how much. Like I said, I do think they're with the new toy box, they're coming up with better ways to do it. But I think if you want to look at it this way, Disney owns Marvel and they own Star Wars now. That 1.0 was all Disney. 2.0, they're going to hype the difference, saying, look, now you get Marvel. And then there will be some Disney play sets and characters. And then I'm going to guess here, next year or the year after, there's going to be 3.0, and it's going to be Star Wars is like the big new thing, and then some more Disney. Disney's never going away.
Right.
That's the name of it. But each year, it's going to have like a different focus. But like,
I also heard that and I'm surprised. I thought we would hear this actually sooner, but looks like it's more down the road. That was going to have a big parks component. I was hearing like Figment, Orange Bird, maybe even Country Bears, things like that down the road.
I would love to see that would be cool to me. Like, now I'm not saying it'll be this way on the Infinity, but it'd be like if we played a game and had downloadable content. Mm-hmm. But being that this system has figurines, I don't think we'll have that much as in downloadable content. But I think a play set that'll be like a theme park play set. And like you have like a character like Fig, and they make some kind of adventure going through the theme parks. I would buy that so quickly. It would make me more excited than the Marvel, and I'm a big Marvel guy.
All right, so release date September 23rd. What?
23rd. Starter. What systems here? There's going to be starter packs available for the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, the Wii U. There might be a PC version down the road and like tablet like they've had in the past, but I did read recently that the PS is way down the road. And if you didn't notice, people listening, it will no longer be made for the Wii. It's just the Wii. If you ever played it on the regular Wii, it wasn't the same game. The Wii is not capable of doing all the things that the Wii U could, or even the other systems. So the Wii was just pretty popular. So they came out with like a more simplified version of the game, but it won't be on the regular Wii anymore. So if you got that one now, you're stuck with it, and you're going to have to upgrade your system for 2.0. Your starter kit, I think they're roughly $75-$80. By the way, your starter kits will contain the 2.0 game disc, the Infinity base, the Avengers playset crystal. And here's the best news to me. Did you like the the Incredibles game?
Loved it.
Okay, well, Marvel Manhattan for the Avengers, the playset is 4 times as big as the Incredibles board, and that was the biggest one for Infinity 1. So that one's going to be 4 times bigger than the Incredibles game. Other than Toy Box games, going to be Pyramid Hexes. Each Toy Box game is 4 to 5 hours of gameplay designed for a special set of characters. But after the game is completed, a skirmish mode opens up, and you're allowed other characters can play in it. So that's a little different from the last Infinity.
I love that.
I think it's a great idea. Disney Infinity characters who will come in the Avengers playset are Thor, Iron Man, and Black Widow. Those are the 3, kind of like in Infinity 1. You got Jack Skellington, Mr. Incredible, and was it Sully?
No.
Is that right?
Yes,
No.
Sully, Mr. Incredible, and Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, Jack Sparrow. That's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay, you got the wrong Jack.
Wrong Jack. Depending on how.
I was going to say this idea of the Toy Box games also. So, like, all these characters, because right now, like, all right, for the first, Disney Infinity, I have Anna and Elsa, and that's great. But I could play them if I build something on my own, but for the most part, I really just use them for their one little adventure that they come with, and then I use them for the weekly toy boxes. And, we'll usually use a character or two to play each of the 5 new toy boxes. And that's it. And it's really hard to level up those new characters that don't have play sets. So all these toy box games that you say have 4 or 5 hours of gameplay, that's a great place to really level up those other characters.
Oh, and I think it's a great way to get people to pick up some characters maybe from 1.0 that they might not have bought because maybe they're behind a little bit of us. But like putting out more like games, like if they came out with a Frozen game to bring back out those, I can tell you right now, what they should do is come out with some kind of game to buy, download, and then maybe sell Olaf, add him to the mix, or add some other characters and make a little game out of it. I know it's basically I'm saying is make a play set, but even if you don't want to make the play set, little things like the toy box games I think are a way to bring more structured play. Because sometimes I don't have time to build a game or have the talent to build a board. Yeah, more talent probably than anything. So what do you think on a little tangent? What are you thinking about the new movie, Guardians of the Galaxy? Are you excited?
Oh boy, I'm not a big comic books person, so I've never even checked out Guardians of the Galaxy comics. But from what I see, I think even not knowing the story or the characters, it looks like I love comic book movies. So.
Yeah, that's like I was poor growing up. My mom didn't buy me comic books, but I saw a bunch of the comic book characters on TV and cartoons, so I've always loved the characters. Never heard of this at all. I'm not that into it, but Marvel has built up so much, what's the word I'm looking for? Investment with me that I will accept that they make good stuff. Yeah. That's what I'm going to see. Like they've built enough investment that I trust them. And then when I first saw that trailer, just playing More Than a Feeling, which is so out of the loop. I know what the movie's about, in theory. I was like sold because they had basically the chutzpah to put some old cheesy song into it, and I'm like, they just gonna own this. And then like once I found out the story about him, that's this mixtape and it's all he's got left of Earth, and I'm like, but so the reason I'm bringing this up now is, depending how well that movie does, the Guardians of the Galaxy play set that'll come with Star-Lord and Gamora, and you'll get the other characters you can buy. That's going to be awesome.
And this movie's going to be cool. And you know what really selling me on this movie? People around me that are Marvel and comic book fans saying, this is going to be great. And like you said, I think Marvel has my trust at this point. Disney has my trust at this point.
Yeah. Marvel couldn't have made this movie first, and it made no money. But you make the Avengers, and you say people made the Avengers made this. You go, all right, I'll go see it. Talking, because if you would have told me 5 years ago, I'd be excited about a movie with a talking tree and a raccoon, or a game. I'd be like, what are you talking? Talking trees, Treebeard, right? They go, no, not Lord of the Rings. I'm like, all right. But that game's exciting. Then there's Spider-Man coming out, and it's based on the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon. I think you can catch that on Disney XD nowadays. But just to give you a list of some other characters you could buy, there's Captain America, there's the Hulk, and we'll talk about the Hulk's 30-day only exclusivity to the PlayStation 4. Hawkeye and Nick Fury. Nick Fury, by the way, is listed as part of the Spider-Man game. And if you've seen the cartoon, Nick Fury has involvement with Spider-Man, and we won't see it in the movies, but Spider-Man has worked with the Avengers a lot in the comic books. But what's cool about this new game is that some characters are going to be able to interact in different play sets. Nick Fury is obviously one of those characters because he has an Avengers involvement and he has a Spider-Man involvement. So you'll see him possibly being able to be used in both play sets, which I think is a cool new little twist. And then from the Guardians of the Galaxy, we'll have Rocket Raccoon, Groot, Drax. You can buy separately. For Spider-Man, you can get Venom and Iron Fist. Iron Fist is a big character. And back to what I was talking about earlier about the Hulk. There's a collector's edition starter pack for the PlayStation 3 and 4. A lot of gamers in our group on Facebook that I'll talk about in a minute were really freaking out at first, but the collector's edition is going to have all the starter pack components plus the Hulk, who is exclusive to the PS3 and 4 for 30 days. Captain America and a Hawkeye also included as an exclusive display to hold all these characters. So basically, you get all the Avenger characters together at one time in a cool display thing. And again, you can't get the Hulk on the Wii U the first day it comes out, but you'll just be busy playing your other characters, and then in 30 days to kick in, you'll buy the Hulk. He'll come out separately, and you'll get him.
Now that's a lot of information. We actually have a lot more information as well about like the power discs, and also you hinted towards other Disney actual Disney characters in 2.0 as well.
Yep.
That's something we'll get to on next week's podcast. But I think that gave people a lot to chew on for this week. A lot of this information, I had no idea about. I saw some leaks here and there, but there was a lot of characters that were in that.
Yeah, I have to give out a lot of praise and admiration to my staff who works for me at VinylMationKingdom.com. If you don't know, we own a Facebook group, and it's called Infinity and Beyond, presented by Vinylmation Kingdom. So if you want to find that group on Facebook to trade your power disc, find out information, just talk to people about Infinity. Hey, who does it? You go to facebook.com/groups/VK Infinity and Beyond, or as most of us do, we don't type in URLs on Facebook. Just go to the search box and type in Infinity and Beyond, and then look for the one that says Infinity Beyond, presented by Vinylmation Kingdom. You can join us for the weekly, daily. We're all over the information. We're freaking out over every detail that the Johnny V tweets out from Infinity. Join us to find out some information.
And one of the cool things that we're going to be doing on this podcast in collaboration with that Facebook group is before each podcast, we're going to kind of go in there and look at the questions that were asked and answered over the course of the week. Because it's, you may not be able to catch everything that's brought up in the group, and you may have the same questions other people are asking. And I know I sometimes find that frustrating. If you're not there in the moment to kind of catch the question and answer asked, sometimes you miss that kind of stuff. And so we're going to bring that to you here as a segment in the coming weeks.
All right, like right now, I'll give you a heads up. Right now, I'm scrolling through it, and Bill Fields in our group posted something today that could be an interesting fact. That said, keep all your extra power discs that he read that in 2.0, all of your extras from 1.0 will give you extra XP powers in 2.0. Things like that I wouldn't have known if I just didn't scroll through the group. So, again, not saying how much that's true or not. You just go through the groups and see something and jump in there and see it. We have all our articles. We had a great reporter, Abraham Larios Jr., who was at the E3. We're going to hopefully talk to him next week. But you can go to the group right now and read some of his coverage from the E3 and all the interesting and exciting details we learned from the Infinity presentation.
Excellent. And so that'll do it for this first initial edition of the Infinity and Beyond podcast. And we hope to we're going to bring you lots more in the future. We want your interaction there on the Facebook group as well, and other segments or things you may want us to include in this podcast. You can get in touch with us through the Facebook group as well. And Matt, this has been a fun first episode. I like this because you know what I really like? You said you called me like podcast king or something like that.
Podfather.
I do a lot of podcasts, mostly about Disney stuff. Yes. Different collectibles, pins, and Vinylmation. There was a radio show here in Orlando about Disney.
It's a great radio show.
Thank you very much. WDW News Today, plug. But why I really do all this stuff is because it keeps me in the know about this stuff without having to go on the internet and search it, read it. That's why you guys listen to these podcasts.
Yeah, we're busy sometimes, and then it does two things. One, it lets me know things. Two, I'm actually more excited just talking to someone else about it than me just reading about it. So it's like me with podcasts. Download our podcast. Go do what you got to do that day. Cut the grass, study. If you listen to this podcast, you're going to hear other people just like you talking and getting excited. Join the Facebook group. I promise you. Actually, it might make the wait until Infinity 2 more torturous. I don't know. It depends on the way you look at it. I like to talk to people about the things I like.
Well, Matt, that'll do it for this week's podcast. We'll talk to all you guys next week on the next edition of Infinity and Beyond.